Now you tendered exhibit 39. Just give it to him.
I know the content.
Yes, that's the armed forces oath you took.
Yes.
Now, this oath, you say you owe allegiance and loyalty to the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Correct.
Please, if I may ask you, which one comes first? Is it the nation or the commander-in-chief of the armed forces?
The commander-in-chief, by extension, is the nation because he is the apex. Nigeria is people. Nigeria is not map. It's not mere China graph drawing of the map of Nigeria, but Nigeria is people, and it's governed by people. Whoever is at the apex of that government, he is at the head.
Now, is there any limit to this loyalty?
Loyalty, as I said, is either 100% or 0.
So, in effect, you are saying that if the late Chinchi had told you, kill this photographer, you will go ahead and kill him?
No, I wouldn't have killed him. That is, again, the limit.
You say it is 100%?
I say it's 100% to some extent.
In this episode, the former Director of Military Intelligence, Brigadier General Ibrahim Sabo, is in the witness box for cross-examination in the General Oladipo Dia petition. He is questioned mostly about the events of the 1997 coup and the role he played in it. Counsel to Major General Patrick Ziza also questioned him on the 1995 coup that had General Olusegun Obasanjo and Shehu Yaradua imprisoned for participating in the coup. General Sabo had in a previous proceeding confessed to being one of the authors of the controversial publication codenamed Gona. He confirmed that he, along with some other officers, anonymously published a damning article criticizing and even accusing some senior officers of the Abacha government of an array of criminality and misconduct. One of the prime targets of the article was his former boss, General Bamayi. It would later be proven that most of the allegations in the publication were only done out of animosity. General Bamayi claimed in his book that Brigadier General Sabo eventually apologized to him and said that he was being instructed to attack him by higher authorities. General Ibrahim Sabo passed away on January 1st, 2022. If you enjoy our content, feel free to drop us a comment. Let us know what you think, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video.
Do you want to cross-examine now?
Yes, just 3 minutes.
All right.
General Sabo.
Yes, my lord.
This controversial document that was allegedly written by concerned soldiers, to your knowledge, was Major Mustafa part of that document?
Remotely, I will say yes.
Remotely means what?
That the draft was taken and it was printed there, he had the knowledge of it.
But he was not part of it, but he has knowledge of the existence of that
The
document.
writing team that wrote this document, he was not there, but he was the one I gave the draft, whom he gave to the lead CNC's typist, the MA,
Yes.
to type.
Okay. And will I be correct to say that it was on the basis of this that all of you were arrested for coup planning?
Correct, but I want to add here that hitherto, before our arrest, this document, General Bamayi did not know the authors. Why we were arrested was based on a handwritten document, because after our retirement, General Bamayi will not allow us to rest. He continued with the campaign of calumny, innuendos on the pages of newspapers against us after retirement, because he sent samplers to find out if the retirement was hurtful to me, and they came back to tell him that I was happy, I was normal. So he started this campaign of calumny on the pages of newspapers. So I felt it a duty incumbent on me as a retired officer, no more serving, to start also replying in the same light.
No, my own concern is
It was based on the handwritten document. That's why I say when Yakub Meke was cross-examining me, he said it was based on that typewritten document. I say no, it was auxiliary to the main effort.
So what was the main reason for your arrest alongside with Mustafa for coup planning? It's very important to me.
The reason why we were arrested was because of the handwritten document that were to divulge the heinous atrocities of General Ishaya Bamei to the public, so that the whole world will know the type of fellow he was. And Mustafa was not in any way connected to that document.
That is what I want to know. So if he was not connected with that document, and yourself, himself, and others were arrested pursuant to that document, how did it turn out that at the end of the investigation, all of you were asked to go home, and then Mustafa was asked to stay back?
General Abdusalam Abubakar and General Bamei are in a better position to know, because they were afraid that Major Al-Mustafa has a lot about them. So the best thing is to keep him away so that they could go ahead. Anyway, I'm coming to divulge further during the Abiola's case on this issue. As I said earlier in my submission, that this dear issue and the Abiola issue are interlaced to some extent.
In that recommendation in which Mustafa was allegedly asked to be kept, it did state categorically that he was being kept in relation to one Dr. Yakase's confession.
Well, I didn't see the document. It was only when that day you tendered it as an exhibit that I came to know, because when we were retired and when we were released from detention, we were told not to talk to the press, because that is in the first place what landed us into trouble, because we wanted to reply to what Bamei had been doing to us on the pages of newspaper, and we were clamped into detention. Today, the beauty of democracy is there.
Okay.
Bamei is now talking about issues that would have ordinarily during his tenure would have landed somebody as a coup plotter.
My major concern, just get my question clearly, Brigadier General. You were arrested for coup, investigated, and found not to have been involved in a coup. Exactly. And everybody was asked to go. Exactly. Then Mustafa was asked to stay.
To stay behind, correct.
Then the reason why he was asked to stay in that report was that he was to stay to answer to Yakase's confession. And wait, let me just educate you. And that Yakase's confession was that Yakase alleged that Mustafa said he should apply lethal injection to one General Adua. Are you aware of that one?
That is what I came to hear about it, because we were in detention when these documents were sent. But when we came out, we found that the reason why Mustafa was told to stay coincide with what you are saying, because other coup pieces of the 1997 were also released, and Yakase was not released. So it is natural that one will think that is...
Are you aware that the Nigerian police have investigated this and they have found it not to be true?
I haven't seen the report.
Okay. My Lord, maybe at this stage, I will equally leave Sabo, because my Lord will be surprised as to why certain things are going like that. It is in the best interest of this country. We will stop at this place. We will stage a comeback for Nigerians to appreciate what is happening. We are grateful, my Lord.
General Sabo.
Yes, my Lord.
Remember at your main testimony, you truthfully referred to General Ziza as a loyal officer.
Correct, my Lord.
You still stand by that assertion?
I still stand by that.
Thank you very much. You have, as a matter of fact, given evidence on the 1997 coup.
Correct, my Lord.
And a bit on the 1995 coup.
Correct, my Lord.
In fact, I use the word a bit guidedly, because you said you came into that 1995 coup at the tail end of the investigation.
Correct, my lord.
You will remember that a number of officers gave copious evidence both in Lagos and here in Abuja about the 1997 coup.
I'm aware of the statements, evidence given
No,
in Abuja and in Jos.
Okay.
I didn't know of Lagos.
Okay. Well, let me remind you of these people. In Lagos, General Adisa gave evidence. General Malu gave evidence. General Fadikbe, who concluded his evidence, Major Fadikbe, who concluded his evidence here in Abuja a few days ago, also gave evidence. And General Bamiye, all of them agreed without equivocation that there was a coup in 1997.
Correct. I now understand what you are saying. I thought you mean the investigation that took place in Lagos.
No.
The testimony in Lagos, correct?
Yes. And you also know that zeroing on General Adisa and Major Fadikwe, you agree with me that they are of the Yoruba extraction.
Yes, my lord.
And these two gentlemen who truthfully and in the interest of justice and their conscience stated before this tribunal that they actually participated in that coup of 1997.
Correct, my lord.
So, having regard to the avalanche of the evidence of those who testified both in Lagos and here, and in particular, the evidence of Major Fadikbe and General Adisa, will you agree with the positioning of General Dia that the 1997 coup was targeted at the Yoruba race?
I said it in my evidence here that it was not targeted at the Yorubas, but it is our own faults, officers. When we are in a position, we want our cooks to be from the same place with us, our drivers to be in the same place with us, and everybody surrounding us is from the same place. As a result, if there is any security situation, those guys are bound to be investigated.
So you will agree with me that, as a matter of fact, all the involvement of General Dia, who was the masterminder, the financier, were geared towards the achievement of an ignoble cause.
I wouldn't share the opinion now that I had the benefit of hindsight to say Dia was the mastermind. But I will say that I agree with your statements, but to say Dia was the mastermind, I'm yet to be convinced based on the evidence.
But you agree with me that
people.
Whether he was part or he was wholly in part.
Fully involved.
Yes, but it was to an ignoble end. Ignoble end.
Of course, by his behavior and demeanor and all that things.
Which by your own testimony was for financial motivation.
Of course, that is the underlying tone of all the coups.
Thank you very much. Now let's go to the 1995 coup. And I want you to have at the back of your mind the beautiful statement about General Ziza as a loyal officer.
Correct, my lord.
Now, you said you came into the 1995 coup when investigations were almost concluded.
Correct, my lord.
And that because it was your province to look at the records, you found that the SS in relation to certain categories of persons were not thorough in their investigation.
Correct, my lord.
Now, I'm sorry, my lord. Precisely, you said with regards to two persons, General Basanjo and late General Yaradua.
Especially, yes, my lord.
Now, what I want to ask you is this. You know from your position that, from your standpoint, You know very well that in relation to the arrest, the questioning, and as a matter of fact, the decision as to who should be sent for trial is done by the security outfit. Am I right?
To some extent, yes, and to some extent, no.
So what do you mean by to some extent?
To some extent, based on the report received by the security agencies, and to some extent, based on the evidence adduced by the suspects themselves.
Yes.
That is why, ab initio, not everybody was arrested.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I want you to come back. The role of General Ziza in the 1995 coup was precise.
Was that of judging
Of a trial.
Of a trial.
And you know that the journey to the trial level did not begin there.
No way.
Oh,
it didn't begin there, and
yes.
it didn't end there.
Yes, thank you very much. It started with the arrest.
The arrest, investigation, charging, and then
So, thank you very much. In fact, you have made my job very easy. What I'm saying and what I want Nigerians to believe and to know, not to believe, but to know, is that the decision to arrest who, to question who, and to finally determine who should be sent to the SMT, which General Ziza headed, was not that of General Ziza.
no.
Thank you very much. So if there were lapses about the investigation by anybody as to who should be implicated, especially as you said, there were lapses about the involvement of General Obasanjo and Yar'Adua, that was not Aziza's province.
It wasn't. That is why I want to say here that I believe in the adage that the chain is as strong as its weakest link.
Thank you very much. In fact, that's just what I wanted to know. You have also given evidence, beautiful evidence in this tribunal commission, that, and in fact, you tendered Exhibit 39, if I may remember, which was the exhibit by which you showed to the world that every officer in the military usually subscribes to an oath of office.
Correct.
By that, by extension, General Ziza must have also subscribed to that oath of office.
If he hadn't, my lord, he wouldn't have been a major general. He would have been retired at that time as a brigadier general.
And to remind the commission and the public that is eager to know the truth, it means by that oath, he was committed unequivocally, totally, to doing his duty to this nation, number one, his duty to the C, who at the material time was General Abacha, and of course to all his superior officers. Am I right?
Correct. His duties were spelled out in the convening authority.
Yes. And now you are also aware that the military is regimented.
Correct.
And therefore, it gives no option for alternatives. In the sense that, I mean, you are with the military or you are out if it comes to the disobedience of superior orders. Am I right?
To some extent, yes, but there are some people who will either...
Well, I just want...
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And to that extent, I will be right that the military is not a democratic institution per se.
It's an aberration, and I subscribe to that.
Thank you very much. And that was the military, I mean, the culture in which you, the other officers, and General Ziza operated in.
Of course, and grew in it.
And I will be right to say that as a result of that culture of absolute command, I mean, obedience, that was the reason why General Ziza took and accepted from General Abdusalam Abubakar, the then Chief of General Staff, the mantle of being the president of the SMT.
Of course, Aziza was not the first, and neither was he the last to be the president of SMT.
Thank you very much.
It's correct.
And also, I'll be right to say that it's as a result of that absolute loyalty to the nation, to the CNC, that he agreed to monitor the coup plotting under the instruction of the CNC of General Dia.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
It was his duty to do that. He was assigned.
Yes. Oh, come on. General Sabo, even though you came at the latter stage of the investigation of the coup suspects in 1995, you did say that you were not very happy about some investigation. Now, what I want, nevertheless, you will agree with me that the view of the government you were serving at the material time, that is the government of General Abacha, the view of the government at that time was that there was a coup in 1995.
Of course, I didn't deny that fact,
Yes.
but I said I had
No.
reservations
Yes.
in some key
Yes, but
aspects.
on the whole, you agree with the government which you served and to which you were very loyal that there was a coup in 1995.
There was.
You also agree, because that was the view of that government, that the trial was fair and just. That was the view of that government.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Now, General Sabo, you have had occasion to work with General Ziza, and in fact, as a result of this interaction, you found him to be a loyal officer.
If I may even explain further, I worked with General Aziza in so many places.
Yes.
And I took over from him 3 times. I took over from him as the adjutant of the NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy. I took over from him as the brigade commander in 13th Brigade Calabar. I also took over from him as the 9th Brigade commander in Nikeja. So I know General Aziza
Thank you very much.
very well.
You will, since he performed the duty which was a national calling, although some people don't read the newspaper, but you will recall, or if you don't know, there have been so much vituperation of General Ziza by this singular function which he performed, which was a national duty that others have performed. There have been so much denigration of his character,
I've read it on the pages of
appellations that are unprintable,
I've read them.
names which are not even fit for a hoodlum. They have described him in the most unpalatable terms. Now, to zero in, they have even said, petitioners and their sympathizers, that he obtained money in order to do what he did. And that, in fact, he did it as a robot, teleguided by the late C&C. C&C, I'm sorry. From your interaction, by virtue of your portfolio as the Director of Military Intelligence at the material time, you had access to the C&C from the evidence you have given, at least either to report the happenings in the country or to also receive from him instructions. Did the C&C, from your interaction and discussion, by any token at any time, give the impression that he was teleguiding the tribunal of General Ziza in 1995?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge. Do you have any occasion to suspect, because this was a man you were loyal to, that he put Aziza there so that he could be rewarded, either in kind or in money?
As I said, General Ziza was not the only chairman of SIP and SMT. Yes. There had been others, and I'm not aware of anyone that was being rewarded.
So you do not agree with the insinuations that he did it for reasons which were extraneous to justice?
As I said, I had no inkling at all that he was rewarded.
Thank you very much. Lastly, you, in final analysis, you will agree with me that all the allegations made against General Ziza for this national assignment are unfair.
Well, as I said, to some extent, to the fact that people were insinuating that he took that appointment to be rewarded, yes. Other issues...
No, in fact, I just narrowed down on Aziza.
Yes, he had a duty
yes.
to accept
yes. So,
a responsibility given to him.
Yes. So anything that they have said which do not bear relevance to that responsibility will not be fair. I mean, I just want you to...
Well, I wouldn't say everything because...
I said anything that will not be relevant to that duty that if...
I will say anything that is emanating from the insinuation that he accepted that responsibility
yes.
for this reason, I agree with you.
Thank you very much. That's all for the witness.
Yes, anybody?
General.
Yes, my lord.
It's on record that the meetings that were organized and attended by some of you who went along, as you phrased it, were organized by Dia himself in some cases. Is that correct?
Like I said in my evidence, my lord, there were certain issues that were not brought to our team of the play along, if I may quote popularity. There were certain hidden agendas.
No, I'm talking about the general one, the one that you are aware of, the one that is outside of the hidden agenda.
Yes.
Good. Now, the evidence shows that Major General Magashi attended some of these meetings on the invitation of General Dia himself.
Some of them...
I'm not asking you a question. The
yes.
question is, did you attend any meeting at which General Magashi was also in attendance?
No, I did not.
So,
except on that very day when Dia was arrested, when we went to brief the late CNC in the villa of what happened.
So actually, at all the meetings held for the going along people, Magashi was never in attendance to the best of your knowledge.
Not that he was not in attendance. The evidence adduced so that he was in attendance. But what I'm saying, most of the meetings that everybody that was supposed to be there, we were not there. It's only himself. Even Dia said it himself. Only himself, General Bamei, Fadipe, and Colonel Garba, and Riba.
So you are aware that he did attend some of these meetings?
Yes, my lord.
Good. Did you also know that he was one of those who went along?
Correct.
You knew?
I know, my lord.
On whose instructions were the going alongers going? On whose instruction?
On the instruction of the late CNC.
And do you know whether or not the same kind of instruction had been given to General Magashi?
If it wasn't given, he wouldn't have played along.
So you believe sincerely that he was playing along because he was under instruction to go along?
Exactly, my lord.
Good. Now, in the circumstances, could you please look at Exhibit 1? That's a DS petition, isn't it? That's a DS petition?
Exhibit 1 here says assassination.
No.
And here's another Exhibit 1 again, set up, yes.
Good. Could you please look at paragraph 20, bullet 3?
Page what, my lord?
Paragraph 20, bullet 3.
1, 2, 3. Major General Bashir, yes, I've seen it.
Good. Could you please read it out?
Read it for me, my lord. It's not my petition.
It's an exhibit. It's an exhibit, so you can read it. It's not a document you made, but it's an exhibit. It's in evidence already. Bullet 3.
Major General Bashir Magashi, who aided Bamei in the setup, also took part in the review and confirmation exercise.
Would that be true?
I was not there when the exercise was reviewed. I was already retired, so I wouldn't know the veracity of this.
Okay, you were not actually in service at that time?
I was not in service, and even if I were in service, I was not a member of the PRC.
Oh, that is talking about the PRC.
That's review. You say
review and confirmation are made by the PRC.
Exactly.
So you're not aware whether he was or was not a member of the PRC?
I was not aware.
Okay.
I am aware that he was a member of the PRC, but I'm not aware what went on there.
I probably gave you the wrong. Okay. Now, would you say, though, that would it be true to say, therefore, that looking at all the facts as you set them out and as you understand them, that Bashir Magashi could not have been party to a setup as Dia is suggesting?
In the first place, as I said, there was nothing like that. He played a major role in the coup. It was real.
Therefore, Magashi could not have set him up?
No way.
Good. Thank you very much.
In fact, Fadipe said that among their meetings, those who attend the serious meetings, it was Magashi who was not even regarded as a serious person in that. So he couldn't have been the man to set Dia up.
Thank you very much.
Yes, my lord.
Please, can you tell the Honorable Commission for how long you served as Director of Military Intelligence?
I served as a Director of Military Intelligence for about 95, 96. There was a broken period, but all along I was appointed in 1995. In 1996, I left for the National War College from July of that year to August 1997, and I resumed from 1997 till July the 10th, 1998. Thank you. ABM Idi Musa, myself, and the other security agents, we used to brief him on the basis of national security immediately, especially after the intelligence community meeting.
Yes, in your evidence, in chief, you said, while as a director, that so many security agencies, particularly from Bamai's office, they send people for detention in DMI.
They send what?
They send people, civilians, to be detained under you in DMI cells.
Yes.
Now, can you tell the commission how many cells we have in DMI?
Well, I cannot enumerate the number, but I know there were, the commission went there and saw it themselves.
Now, with particular reference to, the underground cell,
yes.
in DMI, who constructed the underground cell?
I don't know, I found it there.
As a director, you inherited something, you don't have record of what you inherited.
Not everything that you inherit that you will have to know. Will I know even the person who renovated the place? Will I know the person who extended the office? Are there issues that I have to catalog?
You don't know when that cell was constructed?
I did not know.
Yes. Have you ever entered that cell?
I did.
To inspect, I believe.
Correct.
Can you please describe to the commission and to the public how the cell is?
It was a very dark place and with little ventilation, and it is underground.
Now, do you think it is necessary for any reason to put anybody for any reason under that kind of cell?
Well, within my conscience, no. It's not reasonable.
It's not reasonable.
Yes.
Did you make any such report as a director throughout this period?
I wouldn't have, because I inherited it and I don't want anything that will touch on my safety.
So you're always mindful of your safety. You say you took an oath of...
Of course, if I were killed that time, I wouldn't have been here.
You are a soldier. You took an oath, you said.
I took an oath to die serving the country, not to die from assassins and other issues.
Now, when these people were sending civilians, as you said, both in Lagos, a lot of civilians, there's Professor Shintoku, there's the 18-year-old boy you referred to, there are so many other people that were detained in that DMI. There's even Truman Zeribe, which you say you are aware of too. Now, yes. When these people were being sent from left, right, and center, what did you report to the NC? Did you report to him?
Some of them, as I said, were sent from the presidency. So which report will I give?
Presidency where?
In Abuja.
So that's by the late commander-in-chief?
I say by the presidency.
So who is the presidency? Is not the name of a person?
Somebody the presidency is an organization that is the office of the National Security Advisor. There are other offices there.
So in effect, it was the National Security Advisor that was
Some of them were on his behest.
So can you tell the commission whether that cell was actually meant for civilian citizens?
Whether it was not meant or no, whether it was meant or not, a precedent had been set.
And you just followed willy-nilly?
Well, I had no option.
Now you tendered SB 39. Just give it to him.
I know the content.
Yes, that's the armed forces oath you took.
Yes.
Now, this oath, you say you owe allegiance and loyalty to the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Correct.
Please, if I may ask you, which one comes first? Is it the nation or the commander-in-chief of the armed forces?
The commander-in-chief, by extension, is the nation because he is the apex. Nigeria is people. Nigeria is not map. It's not mere China graph drawing of the map of Nigeria, but Nigeria is people, and it's governed by people. Whoever is at the apex of that government, he is at the head.
Now, is there any limit to this loyalty?
Loyalty, as I said, is either 100% or 0.
So, in effect, you are saying that if the late Chinchi had told you, kill this photographer, you will go ahead and kill him?
No, I wouldn't have killed him. That is, again, the limit.
You say it is 100%?
I say it's 100% to some extent. I will not go and commit murder and say I'm justified. No. That one, I wouldn't have done it.
So you believe there is a limit?
On the correct aspect of it, yes.
There is a limit, yes or no?
Yes.
There is a limit to loyalty to the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Not to loyalty, there is a limit to obedience of orders, if you want it that way.
Now, in your testimony, you freely use terms like loyalty, allegiance, and patriotism.
Yes.
Please, can you just give a commission a guide as to their different meanings and what it means to a member of the armed forces like you?
I intend to write a submission to the commission on this issue.
Very well.
And I will do that.
Thank you on that. Now, on the issue of a coup, you gave a lot of evidence that Bamai did this, about a coup plotter, that an unfortunate person that was roped in. You mentioned so many names, you remember?
Correct.
Now, it is part of the intrigue in the military.
Part of the
intrigue in the military.
Of course, I said it that the military dispensation was not devoid of intrigues. There were a lot of intrigues, power play, and so on.
And it's possible too, it's not only Bamai that must have kind of implicated some people innocently. It's possible.
It's quite possible.
And the only one you noted was just the ones from Bamai.
I had not finished my evidence in chief. As I said, the last had not been heard. Maybe by the time I bring some cassettes and play, that's why I'm even requesting the commission to grant me maybe a whole day to play some video clips. Then you'll be able to know.
No, we are interested in those tapes, really.
They are here, and in fact, my lord, at this juncture, I want to tender them so that the commission can copy them and return my original copies to me, because I've spent a lot of money photostating and recycling this thing on my own.
Is he here? Yes, Sheriff. All right, can you accept the tapes?
Yes, my lord.
Copy them and then bring back.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, we can do that.
There are 5 of them.
Make sure you check and then...
5 of them, cross-check.
Say 5. My lord, there are 5 tapes.
Are they going to be tendered now?
No, please.
Or later on?
Conceal their title.
Yes.
Go and copy them, and then return my original to me. Then I will tender at the appropriate time.
That's my lord, please. Thank you. Now, like I said, as a director of the DMI there.
Sheriff is here.
Yeah.
Sheriff is here. Let him deal with that.
Yes, General Sabo. So you've not answered me clearly. Said, apart from Bamai, it is possible other senior military officers must have innocently roped in some innocent army officers as coup suspects.
Exactly.
And do you have any such records? Because all the names you gave us so far are the ones from Bamai.
I mentioned Bamai because he is the chief architect of all these things. As I told you, if we are to go around and start cataloging all the things that happen, this commission has a lifespan, and there are other cases unheard.
Now, there's also another question of interest to the commission. You are, as the then director of the DMI, at least you should have record. Can you tell the commission and the nation for how many years the Nigerian army has truly stayed in the barracks?
The year preceding the first coup, the years preceding the first coup, and then during Shagari's time.
So can you just give us a sum, a total, resulting to how many years?
Well, I don't want to give false number of years. In 1996, the military came in, and they did not leave until 1979. So maybe about 13 years, I'm not too sure.
All right, 13 years.
Maybe,
and
I say, I'm not too sure. Then, there is the interregnum.
What do you mean by that?
A break.
I know.
Then,
what happened during the break?
When Shagari's government was in place and then it was overthrown,
yes.
Then the military came back again until this present dispensation.
And from your record as the then Director of Military Intelligence, how many coups d'etat have we had in Nigeria, both successful and unsuccessful?
There were many.
From your records, and that's why I'm referring to your records.
Well, some of them I knew because I was not even in the military, like everybody knew, the 1966 rather. There was the one of, again, 1966, which brought General Gawan, that's making 2. 1975, that brought General Murtala, that is 3. 1983, 1983, that toppled Shagari. In between, there was an attempt which saw to the death of General Murtala. That's 5. Then there was the one of 1985, which overthrew Buhari, making 6. There was an attempt by General Basa, 7. Then there was the Oka on, then the 1995, then 1997. As I said, it requires a lot of thinking. Some of them I was not even in the army. I think about 10 or thereabout.
Yes.
Both successful and unsuccessful.
And as a senior military officer, what do you know or supposed to be the function of the military?
The defense of the territorial integrity of the country.
To the best of your knowledge, have they played that role? From what you have just said, the number of coups and the number of years they have stayed in the barracks.
To some extent, yes, that they did, especially during the civilian dispensation. But during the military, that role again was tempered with because of our involvement in politics. That is why it is common knowledge during the military dispensation that the military had been civilianized and the civilians had been militarized.
So, first you're saying during military regimes, they don't play their constitutional role?
Of course, because of the dissipation and because of participation in governance and other issues, make them not to be fully in the barracks.
Now, I'm taking you back to SB 39 again. In that SB, you say you owe your allegiance to the Commander-in-Chief.
Correct.
Now, I'm also aware that you, as a senior military officer, under the then existing 1979 Constitution, as modified by Decree 107, that there was also an oath of allegiance in the Constitution, which you swore to, under the 7th schedule of the Constitution.
Well, if you can read it to refresh my memory.
Now, it reads, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. Did you subscribe to that oath?
I have been hearing it especially on the appointments of military governors, ministers who were taking oath of office.
So you never subscribed to that oath?
Who am I not to subscribe to something that had been authorized by the highest authority?
That's what I'm saying now. Is it not a contradiction in terms? SB 39 says your allegiance goes to the head of state and commander-in-chief. Now, the Constitution says allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Which constitution is that?
I've quoted, you say you even subscribe to that.
I say which constitution?
The Nigerian Constitution as severally amended by the military. As at the time you were serving, it was modified by Decree 107 of 1979 Constitution.
No, cancel. Well, I had not read the Constitution properly, that aspect. I'm not a lawyer.
General,
but I know, sir.
No, sorry for interrupting you. Did you say you subscribe to this allegiance oath under the schedule in the 1979 Constitution? I didn't hear you say that at any time. Are you saying now that in addition to the one you subscribed when you were commissioned, did you subscribe to this other one?
My Lord, I subscribed to it because I didn't do something otherwise.
Huh?
I did not do anything otherwise on it.
No. Do you understand me? I'm saying, was there any point in time after the 72 oath you subscribed when you were commissioned that you again subscribed to this one? I mean, you appeared before somebody and you read this and signed.
I have not done that because the 1972 on was the one that I signed.
Exactly.
This one, I have not appeared before anybody to read it and sign.
General Sabo, now I take you on your brief comment on the 1995 coup, especially as it relates to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo and late Musa Yar'Adua.
Inter alia, yes,
you said when you came in as a director, that was at the tail end of the investigation, and that you noticed there were some loopholes in relation to evidence against them.
Correct, my Lord.
What did you do at that point in time?
I told you when we went to the late CNC, because at that material time there was nothing I could do. I was still studying. And by the time General Marwa, then Colonel Marwa came, we went there to give this advice of non-execution. At least I have shown reason why they shouldn't be executed. And as I told you, Major Mustafa at that time also said if we find a conducive atmosphere, we could tell the late CNC to free these two people at least. So that was an attempt.
Well, that's all for him for now.
Yes. Any other questions from any quarters?
My Lord.
Yes.
I am not. My Lord, I am not particularly in this petition, but I'm interested in the evidence of the witness. And I would like to ask him just a few.
Who are you representing?
I'm in the petition number 1393, my Lord, the case of Bagauda Kalto.
The question we are going to ask has never been asked by anybody.
I beg your pardon, my Lord.
The question is so novel and so important.
No,
let's hear the question, what it looks like.
Yeah. Sir, you said you were for many years at the DMI. Is that true?
Well, when you say many years, it's a matter of semantics. I calculated the period
Yes.
that I was. If that is many, by your definition, so be it.
Yes, you headed the DMI, the Directorate of Military Intelligence.
Correct.
Yes. And you said earlier in your evidence that you had both civilians and soldiers that were detained there.
Correct.
Is it true that you kept a list of all the detainees that were detained in the underground cell?
Correct. In the underground cell?
Okay, under your directorate?
Yes.
Yes, and your directorate also kept detainees in the underground cell?
As I said, yes, there were some that were kept.
Yes, thank you. I'm particular about the civilians. Can you remember some of those civilians that were under your custody at the material times that you were the DMI?
Well, it will not be easy for me to recall.
Okay, I will narrow it.
There are the lists at the Director of Military Intelligence, Security Head Group, and the Army Headquarters.
Thank you, sir. Let me narrow it. Do you perchance know the journalist James Bagauda Kalto?
I've only heard about his name on the pages of newspaper.
Do you perchance, has he ever been on your list of detainees, even though you might not have seen him physically?
No, he was never as adduced. I was following the evidence adduced by Zachary Biu and other people. And I also know that if that personality was with me at that time, I would have known. He was not there at all.
Just one more last question. How do you get to arrest people and detain them in the DMI?
Based on reports.
Reports that borders on state security?
National security, yes.
And at no point in time you ever had a report about James Bagauda Kalto and went after him?
We don't have any report about him in our files.
Thank you very much. My lord, my name is Nunge. Thank you.
Yes, any other questions? I see. It's a convenient time. Now, before we adjourn, I would like the fourth witness, that's Al Mustafa, and I think the second witness is Bamei. Were the second or third? I don't know which. Is this second or third?
Mustafa was the third.
Third witness.
Yes, my lord.
The third and fourth witness, and then this witness.
Bamei is second.
Then the seventh witness. Second, third, and seventh. So give us a write-up, if you can, please. The fourth witness mentioned professionalism many times. You also have it in the two books you gave us, parts 1 and 2. Professionalism is emphasized there. Now, we want you to let us know fully the relationship between professionalism, loyalty, allegiance, patriotism, these four concepts, either in the ascending order or in a descending order. Professionalism, vis-a-vis loyalty, allegiance, patriotism. 2, we just had evidence that the head of state is an extension of the nation. How far do we go with that concept? Can he be the nation? Or is he different from the nation? Is the head of state equal to the nation? Or is he different from the nation? 3, if there's a conflict between the wishes and desires, the aspirations of the head of state as a person and the interests of the nation as an entity, which takes precedence? Relate that to professionalism, loyalty, allegiance, and patriotism. Your write-up will deal with the position in the military sense. We know the position in the civilian sense. The position in the civilian sense will be dictated by the Constitution. That is there, we can read it. But what does it mean in the military sense? It will be very helpful to us. So, yes, in making a recommendation, it will be very, very helpful. Now, I don't know whether any military head of state can, in good conscience, swear the oath in Schedule 7 of the Constitution. Has anyone sworn it? So let us have those who swore to that oath, because the oath is to uphold the Constitution and the law. And when you start by tampering with the Constitution, you're not upholding it. So I don't know whether anyone swore it. So let us know, so that in our report we'll have a picture of what happened from 1960 downwards. We'll be very, very grateful for write-up.
May I please, my lord?
And then,
I'm sorry.
if there are any recommendations you suggest that will help Nigeria move forward, please feel free to make all those suggestions. It will be very, very helpful to the Commission. Now, the lawyers, if you want to do that exercise, I'll be very, very happy if you want to exercise your...
May I please, my lord? Having regard to the fact that my client is so central to the testimony, I don't know whether if I...
The group.
Yes, my lord.
All right, John, please, the more the merrier. And the lawyers, you can do your own homework on the civilian concept of professionalism, loyalty, allegiance, patriotism.
Yes, my lord.
These four are very, very vital concepts.
My lord, let me put the record straight that all of them have sworn to this oath of office and it's signed by them before taking office. Even after the coup speech and everything, they still go back to do the ceremony, my lord.
Now, yesterday somebody called something about law. And then I said it will take us many, 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 many weeks to discuss what is a valid law.
Yes. My lord, they say
you can do that. You can do that exercise. The lawyers.
No, my lord, but I thought they said it's chaos of approaches to chaos concept, chaotically delimited.
So that will be very, very nice. Now, when do we adjourn this for further cross-examination by